Hi guys, welcome back to another video in the Pico 4 Ultra. I'm going to try and make this one quick because this is about a update to the Pico 4 Ultra and the new OS 5.13. So I know updates are pretty boring, no one really wants to hear about those. I really hate those videos on YouTube, but there is a few really interesting features that is worth checking out if you own a Pico 4 Ultra on this, and it's got me absolutely hooked. So first of all, for anyone using the motion trackers, if you are someone that just sits in front of a mirror and quite literally sits down, you notice that my feet are no longer dropping below the floor, they're no longer doing weird drifting. This is one of the main features in the update, is the improvement to the Pico motion trackers. So you're going to be really happy with this. So moving on to the stuff that I'm more interested in. In the developer settings, you now have essentially a Quest game optimizer. Now it's not entirely perfect, and there's going to be notices popping up every time you open it. But you can do per game, as long as it's a Pico XR application, a per game override of your refresh rate, resolution, CPU level, GPU level, and fixed foveated rendering. Now, for me, on something like Dead Hook, which is on the Pico store, this game, for whatever reason, just refuses to run smoothly at 90 Hz. Not because of a GPU bottleneck or any performance loss, it's just a weird visual trait. With the Pico 4 Ultra bringing everything to 90 Hz as standard, that's a pain in the ass. So the refresh rate I can drop down to 72. And because I'm doing that, I have way more overhead than what the game was originally intended with on the Pico 4. So I can now boost the resolution way up. So that's a really cool thing you can do. I would advise, obviously, just not going overboard with this. But yeah, CPU, GPU level, they will set them to level 5. You can just combine different things here. It's not a granular increase of resolution, so there is stages. And not every app is going to be the default 1920 by 1920. Some may be higher, which is obviously going to be a lot more stressful trying to run 2 times resolution on something that's already trying to get towards 2 times resolution as a default app resolution. So be careful how you're using this. Save it. It does save into the profile, so you can restart your headset and it's already saved. And it's a nice, quick, easy way to just go back in and reset to default. But I would advise, obviously, using the built-in Pico metric HUDs to then see your actual stats of how the stuff's running before you actually start tinkering with that, and keep an eye on it as you're tinkering. Just find a really good profile that works. Eventually, I imagine the community is going to be sharing how the games can be tweaked and what you can push with this headset. So it's built in. That's from Pico. It's pretty cool. I would still like to see developers have access to stuff like that they can build themselves, like Quest Game Optimizer coming to Pico, but it's here, it works. It's nice that Pico listened to the community on that one. So, for anyone that actually struggles to find this anyway, the developer option, I will just give you a quick hint on that. So, if you go to the settings and about section, go to your software version, just keep clicking the trigger on that one, and it will bring up this developer page on the left-hand side. You only need to do that at once. So, there's a big old list of the patch note, and I'm not going to go over absolutely everything. Hand tracking has now had some big improvements. There's also an interaction profile for just hands, so the controllers won't wake up, which is pretty handy when you're on the move. To get out of that, you've got the volume up and down together, and it will bring up this selection screen again, so you can change back to a controller that way if you struggle to get back into this menu. That's pretty sweet. There's also quick options menu, so the edit shortcut button. They've added the lying down mode, so the recline mode has always been in Pico, but it's been quite hidden away within the settings here. So they've added this to add into the control center, so you can just very quickly just jump straight into the recline mode and have this just be able to react as it should when you want to recenter and use it laying down. So the other big one here for most people, especially anyone that's using pcvr with mixed tracking, I guess, it's not going to fix the mixed tracking stuff entirely, but there is a new, and again, I wouldn't say it's dangerous, I would say just be cautiously aware of what you're doing here. There's a new option within the display settings to change the auto display off. Now, this is basically almost like an override for the proximity sensor. If I set this to never and take my headset off, it will dim the panels after 10 seconds, but won't stop the rendering. It won't stop what's happening in the headset, which is great for stuff when I'm installing stuff on games like Win Later and it takes ages. Don't need to keep the headset on my head anymore. but you have to bear in mind that it's not going to turn it off. So this needs to be used with caution. Don't do this, take your headset off and forget about it not going into the sleep mode automatically for you, or turning the panels off for you. It will keep running. Definitely don't put that in a case or a backpack while it's doing that, because you're just going to overheat your headset. So this is cool. It basically works as long as I've tested it. I can't possibly leave it on for hours and hours and hours at a time. But it works as intended. It doesn't ever put the headset to sleep once you take it off your head. And that should be quite beneficial for anyone that's sort of laying back and watching movies. I imagine this is not going to mess around and put into a sleep mode after any inactivity detected. So it's pretty sweet. Just be cautious how you're using it. So the big one that I love on this update, and I appreciate people aren't really too interested in spatial format stuff, but I'm becoming a converted user here, and I will speed this up. It's just tick below 20% battery. So the spatial video situation and spatial photo situation on Pico, it's now more compatible with the Apple format. So I've had photos in the HEIC format, and these never displayed properly in Pico. Now they do. It's not going to display properly to you because that's just how VR is. I can't show you what spatial formats look like in YouTube. So there's a new feature within Pico to convert any 2D photo into a 3D. And the first time you do it, you will get a nice effect to come across your picture. But essentially, any 2D photo you've got, if it's imported or downloaded on a headset in the right folder, in this style here, you can just click convert to spatial, and it's all done locally on headset. So this isn't going through the servers. You can be offline and have your photos just convert 2D to 3D. It's pretty damn sweet. So I did do a little meme video before this, but yeah, you can just download anything off the internet and convert it to 3D spatial format. And the biggest thing that I love about this update is they've gone all in with the spatial format side of it. And there is now, if I go into, I believe it's general settings, general screencast, recording and screenshot, go to recording mode, and I can change this to spatial. So what this now does is anything that I'm doing in headset, this view right now, can be recorded in a spatial format. Now it is quite limited on resolution to 1920 by 1920, and you can change that aspect ratio to 16 by 9 or 1 by 1. Typically I choose the 1 by 1 because there's a nice little hack you can do with this, is because it works absolutely everywhere. When you use Pico Connect on pcvr, their highest resolution setting is 3840 by 3840. So what that means is the quality of the video you get once you go back into a video, especially in a 1 by 1 format, is really, really good. It looks great in the headset. And I'm so annoyed that I can't share this to YouTube. What I can do is I can put these files that I've got in the video description. You can just put these in the DCIM folder of the Pico storage, and it will appear in your Photos app to view as a spatial video. I'm not sure if these work on Quest because the encoder Pico use is not the same as Apple Vision Pro. I can't seem to convert this into a normal side-by-side, which is needed for the Quest. It can't play Apple stuff. So if anyone's got iPhone and a Quest 3, if you can download this file, try it, put it onto your iPhone, and then convert it possibly through the MetaQuest app to your Quest. It have to jump through their service. That's the only way it does the conversion on Quests. If it plays, great. If it doesn't, sorry, you just can't see what I'm seeing. So anyone with the Pico 4 Ultra is able to see this. Just drag it into the right folder and you can play it back. So waffling on, there's two different views here. One gives you the feathered edge window. I'll just use this as an example. So a nice 3D effect. And again, it's not going to come across in YouTube. That's just so annoying. But for me, I've been hooked on doing anything pcvr and just getting some really great captures in spatial format like this, because it looks so good in headset, and also the sound. So this particular instance in Half-Life Alyx, I'm sorry spoiling it for you, but should have played it by now. The G-Man walks around you and really makes use of the audio, making you look where he's going when you can't see him, and you can hear him coming into frame and out of frame, and it's just cool. It's really, really cool. So that is what I've been hooked on, basically recording my own stuff into spatial format. There's loads of different recordings from different people that shared their stuff. So this is a VR chat world. And again, without playing it and showing what the deal is, when you go into stuff like this, yeah, you get the idea. So it's pretty sweet. Combined with the 2D to 3D, it's a really nice update. And I've been hooked, basically. So that's one that's really got me. And I'm really, really liking that update now. So I've covered all the motion tracker stuff. There's obviously a lot more improvements with the waist tracker. I've not got that, so I can't go over that. Hand tracking, that's had some improvements. Yeah, I'll just basically be reading off this now. It's just had improvements. So even Pico Connect's got improvements. I won't go into those. It's going to be a very long video of just reading the patch note. I don't want to read them off like everyone else does. So if you've got a Pico 4 Ultra, this should be hitting your headset right now. The beta's been really smooth. It's not, honestly, it's been the most stable update I've ever had. And it's a beta. So I'm really impressed with this. It's been pretty sweet. The only catch I've got at the minute, and I don't know whether it's going to be addressed really quickly, is one of the changes they've made within this update and the new Pico Connect is they are going to be using the headset's refresh rate to control what the PC refresh rate is. So for Pico 4, that's fine. You've got a lab setting of 90 hertz if you were using that. So then obviously it would just change your pcvr experience to 90 hertz. You haven't got to have two controls separate, and it doesn't break when you go into sort of the apps like this. While you're in an XR application, it doesn't go a bit janky, so that's fine. But with the Pico 4 Ultra, I don't have control of the refresh rate. I mean, I possibly got it from the new performance tuner. Might be able to change Pico Connect settings there, but it shouldn't have to be that way. That's just really awkward. So again, there's nothing Pico Connect there, where the Connect shows up here, but no, it doesn't. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. I believe that should be changed. But apart from that, everything about this update has been really, really cool. So low light performance has got better. Recline mode just being there on a quick action is just sweet. The window control as well, I've not even gone into that yet. The window control, while it's not perfect, the normal dome situation like this, where you can just stack and overlap and go up, you've now got one that you can move them away or move them closer. Now, this isn't going to be like the Quest, where you can take the window around with you and it's got controls where you can tilt and twist. But it does allow you to do stuff like putting that on the wall. So that's on there, that's on that wall, that's fine. It's no longer in a curved dome. Or I can bring them up and tilt, so I can put one up here and one down here. And again, just open up more applications normally to view, and it's not in the way. Just quickly glance down if I need to glance down. So that's pretty cool. That is going to need some refinement because it is slightly a bit awkward trying to snap that back into the normal panel screen curve, matching up to the little dots that come up on here, and moving it up vertically as I used to use them. I'm more of a stack everything vertical and just make him a little bit smaller guy just to get more in like this. That's how I tend to use it. When you go up so far, or if you bring this back and then go up, it starts to tilt. So it can be handy, but then it obviously means you can block windows like this quite easily. So like I said, not perfect, but it is obviously another option now. Nothing's snapped to the grid. You can control that yourself. And just position windows as you want. So that is about as much as I can cover without just reading off patch notes and going over it. I don't want to bore everyone with that. If you're using motion trackers, you got the improvement. If you're using the new spatial format stuff, that's really cool. You're going to be addicted just like I am. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Give it a go. It should be hitting your headset right now anyway. There's no beta, there's no signing up or anything you need to do. It's all just here and it all just works. So yeah, thanks guys. Check it out. Thanks for watching.